Hello everyone, you are going to start to learn conditionals. Today we are going to explore particularly zero conditional. Let's examine conditional clauses. Conditional clauses consist of two parts, the if clause and the main clause. The if clause indicates hypothesis and the main clause indicates result. There are four types of conditional sentences, type 0, type 1, type 2, and type 3. Today, we're going to analyze type 0. Each type contains a different pair of tenses. With each type, certain variations are possible. Let's examine zero conditional. We use the zero conditional to talk about situations that are generally or always true. For example, if you take a fish out of water, it dies. This is not just a specific situation, it always happens. Here is a chart that represents both the formation and usage of zero conditional. We use zero conditional to talk about general truth, things that always happen, and laws of nature. As I said before, it consists of two parts, if clause and main clause. If clause indicates hypothesis, main clause indicates result. As you see here, for if clause, we need to use present simple, and for main clause, we need to use present simple as well. Let's look at the examples. If you boil water, it creates tea. If you go out in the rain, you get wet. So as you see here, we use present simple for if clause, and we use present simple for main clause too. There are other words and phrases which have a similar meaning to if, for example, when. If or when I leave a room, I switch off the lights. If or when both of them have the same meaning. If or when I leave a room, I switch off the lights. Okay, let's examine several examples about zero conditional. Okay, we use type 0 to talk about universal truth. We need to use present tense in both clauses. For example, if you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. If you pour oil into water, it floats. Okay, let's move to another example. If you don't water flowers, they die. As you see here, for if clause, we need to use present simple, and for main clause, we need to use present simple too. Here is another example. If you press this button, it starts. As you see here, for if clause, we need to use present simple, and for main clause, we need to use present simple as well. There are several examples here. Let's analyze them one by one. If it is too hot, the ice melts. The ice melts if it is too hot. If you mix yellow and blue, you get green, or you get green if you mix yellow and blue. Okay, this notification is so important that please pay your attention to it. We can reverse the order. If she eats too many sweets, she gets a toothache. She gets a toothache if she eats too many sweets. As you see here, after the if clause, we need to use a comma, but when we begin with the main clause, we don't need to use a comma. So, we write a comma after the if clause when we begin with the if clause. As you see here, after the if clause, we need to use a comma, but when we begin with the main clause, we don't need to use a comma. As you see here, if it is too hot, the ice melts. After the if clause, we need to use a comma, but when we begin with the main clause, we don't need to use a comma, as you see here. Okay, let's examine several examples about zero conditional. Let's start with the first one. If you heat the metal, it expands. If you heat snow, it melts. If you boil water, it evaporates. I get angry if someone shouts at me. If or when a volcano erupts, lava comes out. As you see here, for if clause, we need to use present simple, and for main clause, we need to use present simple as well. Like heat expands, heat melts, boil evaporates, get angry or shouts, erupts, comes, as you see here. Okay, here's an exercise that you need to complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs given. As you see here, there are totally 4 sentences. You just need to complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs given. Let's read them together. Let's start with the first one. If you, in the corridors, you, into trouble. You, more energy if you, fast. If you, water, it, ice. If an egg, it. Okay, let's think about them and then write the correct answers with the correct form of the verbs given. Okay, can we say if you run in the corridors, you get into trouble. You produce more energy if you walk fast. If you freeze water, it becomes ice. If an egg falls down, it breaks. So we have completed the sentences with the correct form of the verbs given. Okay, now we're going to think and answer. As you see here, there are totally 4 questions. You just need to think and then answer them. Let's start with the first one. What tenses do we use in the zero conditional? If plus tense, comma, tense. Just think about it. Second one, does the half of the sentences with if always come first? Next one, when do we use a comma in conditional sentences? We use a comma when if is in the part of the sentence. We use zero conditional to talk about. Just think about and then answer them. Okay, let's answer them together. What tenses do we use in the zero conditional? If plus present tense, comma, present tense. Second one, does the half of the sentences with if always come first? No. When do we use a comma in conditional sentences? We use a comma when if is in the first part of the sentence. Next one, we use zero conditional to talk about things that are generally true. Okay, another exercise. You just need to devote your attention to that page. Are going to write sentences to make general statements using the zero conditional. As you see here, there are totally 6 sentences. You just need to complete them by using the zero conditional, okay? For the first one, if I'm late for school, comma, just think about the rest of the sentence. Second one, if you sit too close to the TV, comma, just think about. Next one, if you go to bed late, comma, I feel sad if. I enjoy English classes if. My parents are happy if. Just think about and then write general statements using the zero conditional. Okay, for the first one, if I'm late for school, comma, my teacher gets angry with me. Second one, if you sit too close to the TV, your eyes get sore. Next one, if you go to bed late, comma, you feel tired in the morning. Four, I feel sad if my parents argue. I enjoy English classes if I listen and participate. Last one, my parents are happy if I get good marks at school. As you see here, for if clause, we need to use present simple. And for main clause, we have used what? Present simple as well. Okay, let's move to another exercise. You're going to use the prompts to write sentences in the zero conditional. You need to use if or when. Just think about and then You will use the prompts to write sentences in the zero conditional. You need to use if or when. Just think about and then write the correct answer. Okay, can we say if or when I eat too much chocolate, I get sick? Next one, if or when you don't do your homework, your teacher gets angry. Like present simple, here, present simple, and here, present simple as well. Okay, here is another exercise that you're going to complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs given. As you see here, there are totally 8 sentences. You just need to complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs given. Let's read them together. Let's start with the first one. If it's sunny, people often to the beach. If it for months, the result is usually a drought. If it rains a lot for months, they often floods. If you don't water plants, they if it very sunny, comma, it's bad for your eyes. If the sun all day, comma, the temperature goes up. If you sugar into water, comma, it flowers if you them. Okay, just think about and then write the correct answer. Okay, let's answer them together. Let's start with the first one. If it's sunny, people often go to the beach. If it doesn't rain for months, the result is usually a drought. If it rains a lot for months, there are often floods. If you don't water plants, they die. If it is very sunny, it's bad for your eyes. If the sun shines all day, the temperature goes up. If you drop sugar into water, it melts. Flowers die if you don't water them. As you see here, we have completed the sentences with the correct form of the verbs given. Okay, now here is another exercise that you need to answer these questions with complete sentences. As you see here, there are totally 4 questions. You just need to complete these sentences by thinking about zero conditional. Okay, let's read them together. Let's start with the first one. What happens if you mix blue and yellow? Second one. What happens if you study hard for an exam? Next one. What happens if you never brush your teeth? Last one. What happens if you eat too much? Just think about and then answer these questions with complete sentences. Okay, can we say for the first one, what happens if you mix blue and yellow? If I mix blue and yellow, I get green. Second one, what happens if you study hard for an exam? If I study hard for an exam, I get a good mark. What happens if you never brush your teeth? If I never brush my teeth, they go bad and fall out. What happens if you eat too much? If I eat too much, I feel sick. As you see here, we have completed these questions by using zero conditional.